Hey everyone. So I guess we're all catching the layoff wave. So what better thing to talk about first than job cuts and layoffs? And the first article that I wanted to go over was Amazon could cut nearly as much as 10% of corporate jobs, holding over 350,000 corporate employees. And their CEO, Andy Jassy, said in a blog post to employees that efficiency gains from artificial intelligence would allow the company to eventually have a reduced workforce. And the key thing about this is efficiency gains. And I just want to go over that. But before I do, this isn't just an Amazon thing. If we go to MSNBC and we take a look at the article from there, Meta will lay off roughly 600 employees from bloated AI unit. And Google cuts more than 100 design-related roles in their cloud unit. And this is all due to artificial intelligence. It sounds illogical at first, but it kind of makes sense when you think about it. Because what is the ultimate goal of these companies? It's to optimize as much as possible. And just to go over why this makes sense, I just wanted to show you some things on Excalibur. This is kind of unconventional, so I'm curious to see how this works out, so please bear with me. There are inventions that occur every so often that transforms the way that society operates, socially, politically, and economically. And in this case, that was the internet. And from this innovation, what happens is various innovations spawn. And these typically take the form of companies. During the 90s, you had a variety of companies spawn up. During this time, it's the Wild West. It's just an open road of possibilities where you had businesses spawning left and right, just claiming a piece of the pie, based on the enablement of the internet. And during this time, it's a lot of competition. However, as things start maturing, slowly but surely, that's when you start having optimizations. The first optimization is vertical. So that's when you have one business start acquiring businesses within their vertical slice. So you have one technology company start acquiring other technology companies. And so what they do is they start owning the value chain from the top down. So what happens is you see them going out and acquiring different things, like say Google with Google Maps. Google Maps is not even native to Google, but it was an acquisition. All these companies that you see today have grown significantly because of the acquisitions that they had, which is them going within their own vertical slice. And you can see it also as well with Amazon. The second optimization that happens is horizontal optimization. So when you think of the value chain of a company, in the case of Amazon, they originally did not have their own delivery trucks. It used to be outsourced. So what did Amazon start doing? They started owning the value chain by acquiring not only the means to deliver their own products, which is the semi-trucks you see on the road, as well as the last mile trucks that you see once the fulfillment center receives your item. But then they also start doing horizontal acquisitions. And that's where you see things like Amazon acquiring Whole Foods. They start increasing the company's value by expanding beyond their initial domain. So once the vertical value has been maxed out, they start moving off horizontally. And then they start acquiring as many things vertically as there. That's why you see so many different companies just start acquiring other companies. And as the result, they say it's going to bring jobs, it's going to bring optimization and efficiency, but it typically always results in jobs lost somehow, some way. So where does that leave us? In this day and age, I want to say that the internet age is heavily saturated. This is no longer the Wild West. If you were a software developer during the 90s and the 2000s, those were the best times to do so. In fact, the companies today, for the most part, have been spawned or they have grown heavily during the 90s and the early 2000s. And those are the companies that are dominating today. So what happens when you have maximized your vertical and horizontal integrations? You can only optimize inward. And that is where artificial intelligence comes into play. Artificial intelligence itself is not new. It's been around for decades, the concept of it, and it's been used a lot of times. However, it only started getting a lot of traction because of the fact that it can optimize within a value chain, horizontally and vertically. And in an age where there is very small wiggle room for innovation, artificial intelligence is that one spot that allows for an expansion. So what happens is companies today have an incentive to start reducing costs while maximizing value, which is the same thing as all these vertical and horizontal integrations, just done inwards. So what happens is this is just a natural consequence of where we are in terms of our economic system, capitalism or whatever on earth you want to call it. And it's just a natural trend. What's going to happen is artificial intelligence is going to start getting better and better at optimizing and making things more efficient. But eventually, even that's going to run into a headway because you can only make things as efficient as you possibly can. Eventually, artificial intelligence is either going to hit a ceiling because of enough pushback, or it's going to hit a ceiling because it optimized to the max. And in which case, once again, optimization moves somewhere else. In this case, energy consumption, making it easier. So the thing that I'm trying to get at for this video is it's interesting how, like the nature of organizations or even entities, companies in general, optimizing is just resulting in all these layoffs. And then what's interesting again is all these AI jobs, I know one day are just going to melt off. Because take a look at what's happening. You take a look at a factory floor. It's like how many people used to be hired manually, and now you have AI taking over the spot. You're not going to have the same number of people managing those machines. So right now, just as software developers had a spike, and then eventually it plateaued to where it's just kind of maintenance mode, AI is currently in that phase where it's expanding and being innovated upon because we're currently in that gap. But eventually that too is going to one day hit a ceiling. And just like software development, it's no longer going to be hire as much as possible so that way you can gain the edge. But rather even they are going to start horizontally and vertically optimizing. And the result is, again, jobs are going to start dwindling. No, I guess that was just my thoughts on this first video. I just wanted to kind of just go over that flow and also just go over about, these layoffs that are happening, which is heavily unfortunate. And, it's like, there's going to be a lot more to talk about. This is just the first video. Again, I'm on the layoff wave like everyone else. So, to everyone who's out there that got laid off, it's like, I feel for you. But, it's like, we'll just keep fighting the good fight in any way we can. So if you're interested in this type of content, I would really appreciate a like and subscribe. And I'll see everyone in the next video. Until then.